Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Michelle here. I have such a fun, exciting project for you today. I wanted to create a memory keeping album that was going to be a reasonable size because I know sometimes our things tend to be super mini, and I wanted it to have a lot of space. And sometimes 12 by 12 paper just doesn't cut it when it comes to sizing things. So I wanted to make a way where we could make this extra big. You can see it's pretty large in width and length. And you don't have to look at this as just, photos. You can also stick, lots of die pieces or use it as storage. You can see here, I even tucked in the album that we had made the other day. It just shows you how much room and space is in here. And then of course you can always just have your stuff, which is just a bunch of mix. So if you're looking for ways to hold storage in your craft room, this is also another fun idea for that as well. So this is very simple, but let's get started. And I have this little latch. You don't have to add that, but I just thought it was a nice way to make the little closure. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the pocket sleeves inside. Or actually, let's start with the cover. We're gonna go ahead and start the cover. Let's go outside and work our way in. Okay, so let's start with the cover. I'm gonna close this. Okay, and the cover is fairly simple. I'm taking my cardstock, two of my little cardstocks. It could be regular scrapbook, but I'm taking two cardstocks from my kit and I'm cutting two of them 5 by 8. And then what's going to hold this together is going to be our little spine here, and that's going to be 3 by 8. And we're going to go ahead and just put this aside. And we're going to score it at the 3-inch mark at 1/2 inch and 2.5 inches. So 1/2 inch and 2.5. I made a little bit of wiggle room because if you stuff it, I wanted to space out the envelopes to make it, so there's a lot more wiggle room in there. So this is fairly simple. I'm going to go ahead and fold my score lines. Get this out of the way. And basically we're just going to glue this down. So whichever way you want to face it, I want my polka dots on the outside, so I'm going to glue mine down just like that. So mine's going to be facing outside, so I'm just going to use it this way. And I love the color contrast in the kit. You can just run it over here and just kind of fold it down so you have that. Make sure no glue is leaking out. And then do it again on this side. Just kind of let that dry for a minute. And this is our simple cover. Of course, you can add chipboard or do whatever you want to do if you want it to be super solid. But honestly, this is pretty solid just like this. You really don't need to do the chipboard, I feel like. Okay, and right there is going to be our cover. So simple. And then the little latch, which I'm going to wait for that because you want to kind of fill your pockets inside first. So we're just going to put that aside right now. Now let's go ahead and do the inserts inside. Okay, so the front, so we're going to use a 5 1/4 width and by 8 3/4 length paper, okay? And we're going to score it 3 times around, 2 short sides and 1 long side at 1/2 inch. So the 12 by 12 would never actually be able to fold this size. I feel like if you can make an envelope, but you won't have that tab under. So that's why I had to do it this way. Okay, and once you have your scores, it's hard to see on this paper, but we're going to cut out the little boxes at the bottom. They should be right here. And this side too. Okay, now just fold in the sides and leave this bottom score out. So we're folding that inside and kind of folding this outside. Okay, so that's going to be our little tab. We're going to hang it inside. So now we're going to add our little back page here. So our back cover is going to be 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. Now at the 5 1/4 score, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, and I'll show you why. Because technically you could glue it on like this and just glue the bottom, but we want a little bit of leeway, just like it would be a library pocket or, you know, something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that down. You're going to have this little ledge right here. And what I'm actually going to do, we're seeing a new sheet of paper here. That is because I accidentally had cut my personal paper wrong. The measurements are fine. So I'm just going to be using this. And again, as we go here, you're going to go ahead and take your, sorry, let me just close this a bit. I want you to see it. So you're going to take this and we're basically just going to glue it right before that little tab right there. So go ahead and take your glue, make sure this is facing inside because that's going to give us like a little bit of a gazette. So let me do it from this angle here. So there's just, make sure you know that it's not in the way and just kind of center it. And I did make this a little shorter, so you will have a little like edge hanging right here because I didn't want it to come over the edge and be a problem. So you'll have a little bit, like just a little bit of paper showing. And then, but I kind of like it. So if you're contrasting your colors, it looks nice. You could even, if you want it to show, you could even glue it on top like that. But I'm just going to keep mine under. Ooh, I didn't glue the bottom good enough. Hold on. Okay, so there's our little pocket right here, and you have like that gazette, so there's not going to be a problem when you're sticking anything in it. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do this 3 times. Now, for one of my pages, you'll notice I had a cutout. Basically, you're going to do the same thing again. Do your little back cover, you know, score, and what you're going to do is run it through your die machine before you glue it on. So take your dies, and then what I did is just grab a sheet of vellum, and I'm going to just glue it on there. So you have your little vellum sheet. I'm just going to just lightly glue around and stick it on there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Make sure this kind of fits. And vellum is very finicky, so make sure you make the glue really light before it smudges through your little holes. You could do glitter cardstock too. It's just all preference. You could even do another piece of paper, and that's going to give you that vellum look. And then again, I'm just going to do the same thing, and I'm going to pop on my cover. I know these papers are really busy. So now you can see the contrast a little bit of why the edging, but I do like that. And again, if you want to do it this way, you can do it that way too. So basically just do this 3 times. So there's our second one. We have number 1 and 2, and then I've already done number 3. So we'll go ahead and pop this on in our bump. All we're gonna do is glue this down onto our little spine here, or tape, whatever adhesive you have. And like I said, this is very forgiving, so you can space it out a little bit, just kind of center it in the middle, and then it's going to give you that little flap there. This is so much fun and can really, really hold a lot of things, especially for the holidays, if you're doing especially a Valentine's swap or anything like that. Okay, this is going to be our last one. This is my, you can use back or front. This is supposed to be my back, but I actually like the colors, so I'm going to put it in the front. So you can use either side. And I want to show you how much room. So you can see in between the little spaces, you have plenty of space, so you don't have to worry about cramming it. And then you have this. So I also, from my kaleidoscope kit right here, I took out the tabs, the tab die, and I added that too. So you can add these little tabs on here. You can add it in the front or back. I'm just going to add mine on the back. I'm going to add 3 of them. One in the far left, the middle, and then the right. And it already just adds an interesting mix because you're doing all these colors, and it just starts to make the album really fun. Like, it already looks lots of fun before you even add anything on there. So next, let's do the tab, and the tab's pretty simple. It's just the way I kind of had done the wallet. It's just a 1.5 by 5 inch paper. And I'm just going to corner round it. Add some Velcro strips. I'm just going to add mine right on here. And just kind of place where you want it. So I'm going to probably put mine right about there. So for reference, it really just depends how much you fill this. You could even sew this on before you put the album together. Okay, I'm going to put it right up here. And then that's going to help your album kind of sit up when you have things in it. And you can also use your bone folder to round it off. But there. And it stands great. But again, if you want to just curve that more, just use your bone folder and kind of just swoop that. And that'll give it that little curve. Okay. But now I'm going to go ahead and decorate this. I had used some lettering before, but I'm just going to use what I have and just kind of switch it around. So now I'm just going to go ahead and forward this a little bit and just decorate with the items that I have left and just show different ways you can decorate your album. I'm just using a lot of my cardstock stickers and putting them on there. I just like how they look a little bit clustered. And I am just loving the stickers with the numeric numbers and the lettering as well. This folder is just going to be great for all holidays, especially Valentine's Day coming up. You can really tuck in lots of beautiful pieces that you've created when you're doing swaps, or tons of memory keeping like photos and Polaroids You could even use your dies if you need a way to store your dies and other craft related items. You could have an entire little library of this. It would be just so much fun. I like the way the frame looks with just like a little sticker on the front, because it just makes your paper kind of just pop out just a little bit more. And I kind of like to add the, little pieces around it, surrounding it, just to see how it looks. I love how the vellum looks with the stickers just kind of clustered together. And then my original album, I had, added like tags and things on the covers, so don't forget to do that. But this is just a really great size. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I even have a little pocket life card here that I'm just going to clip on the front because I just like the way that it looks. You could even add some photos here. Maybe like a picture of your dog, and then inside you can have some dog photos or your kids, things like that. But this is just such a fun album to make, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I love the sizing again, just so many uses, and you can see this, just a few examples of, what can go in here. I have, again, the tag album that we created, the little project cards. You could even put your dies, again, and then you've got your stickers, stamps. They all just tuck in there perfect. So this is the album, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked this project, and don't forget to subscribe for more.